Thank you all very much. The more I hear, the more questions I have. I'd like to ask Dr. Small, if you don't mind telling me, you say they're growing now a standard medical marijuana. What is the THC level of that?
The marijuana strain that I selected could be altered somewhat, but generally produced a THC concentration of around 12%. Now, the kinds of concentrations that are currently being reported by commercial medical marijuana suppliers is kind of artificial, because what's done is that the part of the plant that is highest in THC concentration, namely the flowering parts, are carefully, often trimmed away so that the larger parts of the plant, the leaf-like parts, they're called bracts, which have lower THC concentrations, are trimmed away, artificially building up the THC level. And that's done because high THC concentration is a selling point in many marketplaces. People like the idea of growing something, of purchasing something that's stronger. It obviously is problematical in that respect.
If you don't mind me following up, I thought that what you were looking for in medical marijuana was a high CBD and low THC. So what would the CBD levels be in the standard medical marijuana?
Both THC and CBD have medical properties. There are indications that they are independently and collectively useful for certain medical conditions. In the main, the recreational market has gravitated very, very strongly to high THC levels and very low CBD levels. On the other hand, there is evidence that cutting down the THC level and building up the CBD level, in other words, having a kind of a hybrid product, has less potential for illness.
So actually, I guess one of the exciting things about the coming legalization of marijuana is the fact that there will be more research and doctors will be eventually comfortable in prescribing the different kinds of. So, but I guess.
An indication from Mr. Page.
Yeah.
Well, if that's okay with the Senator.
I would like to, and then I've got one more question for both of you as well.
I'll respond really quickly on terms of percentages. You asked about where THC levels are in the current medical system, and my lab does a lot of that kind of testing. So it would range from about 10% to 26 or 27%, with really the average for THC strains around 17.5%, and that's been consistent since 2015. And then, as Dr. Small indicated, there's more and more CBD products and products that contain both. And CBD is typically topping out around 18% in a pure CBD strain. And there's things like 7 and 7 and 6 and 4 and those kind of mixes between THC and CBD.
Okay. Now, when you're, I think, I mean, there's a lot of concern out there of people smoking dried cannabis or dried marijuana and the harms that can do to your lungs. So I would think that people will move once it's legal and once it's sort of produced and sold in other forms, that a year from now we're going to be looking at legalizing all kinds of different types of forms that are maybe not as harmful to your health. So I'm just wondering, I have a concern with it being grown and then you get into the production of oils and things like that, which is at this point quite problematic. So would you have any thought on where do you think it's going to go? I guess I don't know who I'd ask, maybe Mr. Page and Dr. Small.
Where's it going? Yeah, I mean, I think what we're going to see is is over time a reduction in smoking and vaporizing, so inhalation as a route of consumption, and the emergence of ingestion, so via beverages or edible type products where people are not smoking. And you know, Bill C-45, I think, contemplates a 1-year period before the rollout of those non-smoke products. And I think this is a good step forward in terms of public health to have, not the reliance on inhalation. There are now oils available, ingestible oils as part of the medical system, and I assume we'll see those being part of the recreational system immediately, but they're not the sort of beverages and things that are kind of you see in Colorado and other places.
There is a lot of current interest in the role of these volatile compounds that were referred to earlier as terpenes. That's really what gives the smell to cannabis. The cannabinoids really don't have an odor. And commercial strains today are, yes, they are differentiated on percentages of THC and CBD, but often it's the terpenes that qualify a given strain as different and give it a certain image. And the role of the terpenes medically is currently, I would say, an exciting area of research with potential for medical applications. Not my area of specialization. And in Canada currently, compounding of cannabinoids and other medicinal ingredients, to my understanding, is not allowed. But one day, this will have to be demonstrated by research, of course. One day, that may open up an exciting new vista for applications. On the other hand, I recall reading a notice recently about terpenes also having possible harmful effects, so that one has to be careful here that terpenes, these basically odor taste components that differentiate strains, and really it's the only basis of the more than 1,000 strains that are being marketed one way or another around the world. Really it's the terpenes that are the critical ingredients. Whether they are harmful or beneficial, or harmful under some circumstances, beneficial under other circumstances, awaits research, but it is an interesting area.
So I just wanted, if you don't mind.
No, sorry, we're way over time. Senator Ahmedvar.